Now, anyone who's given up hope on Tom Aspinall having an absolutely huge heavyweight title fight, I'm going to give you some hope right now. Francis is not going to publicly say anything about PFL or his situation at PFL, and PFL is not going to say anything publicly about their situation with Francis. But everybody knows PFL is struggling financially, okay? They have to pay Francis $8 million when he fights next. Do you think that they have $8 million to just light on fire for an event that they know they're not going to recoup their costs on? They don't have an opponent for him. How are they going to do this fight? So is it impossible they release him from his contract? And then Francis now knows there's no more boxing matches for you. There's no other MMA for you. And he comes back to the UFC and we get Tom versus Francis. Dude, that's the fight. Okay? That is the fight. I would take that over the Jon Jones fight. All right, Jesse on Fire. Welcome back to the channel. So Jon Jones's attorney has put out a statement and is giving Jon Jones's account of what happened that night. And when I tell you that this is one of the most impactful statements I've ever seen in a situation like this, and I mean, this is like all I do. You know what I mean? All I do is, oh, there's drama. Let's see how they handle this so I can speak about it on my channel. This one was one where I was expecting something and it's completely different and way more impactful. So we're going to go through exactly what they said. And basically, I'm going to go so there's a few things related to his retirement, all kind of back to back to back on this full mount video. And so I want to go through these really quick. So we're going to go through what like Jon Jones' statement and what Tom Aspinall said. And then Dana White's reaction to Jon Jones' legal trouble, because that's very notable also. And then we're going to go through the statement that his attorney made. So let's rock and roll. I appreciate you guys. A bunch of people subscribed to the channel from my Jon Jones video yesterday, and I really appreciate it. I love doing MMA news, man. I really do. The thing is that it's been boring, okay? Like, it's been boring. There just wasn't a lot of stuff that was that interesting to cover. Like, I can cover whatever. I am the luckiest YouTuber in the world. Like, somehow my channel evolved into this thing where anything I'm interested in, I could basically cover. And, but it just, like the fights themselves, of course, I'm super interested, but like just anything that was going on kind of around the sport, I'm like, man, there's just like nothing exciting going on. So I love this, dude. I mean, I don't love like bad stuff happening to fighters, obviously, but, I'm always eager to give my take on situations like this. So let's rock and roll. All right. So Tom Aspinall responds to the, okay. So I'm sure all of you guys have read this statement from Jon Jones's, retirement a couple nights ago, but he also put this statement up that is related to the police, like the situation with the cops. But his retirement statement has something very notable in it that everybody missed, because we didn't know at the time that he had this pending case, okay? So that's what I wanted to read. I'm going to read you part of his statement so that we can get to that. So today, I'm officially announcing my retirement from the UFC. This decision comes after a lot of reflection, and I want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude for the journey I've experienced over the years. From the first time I stepped in the octagon, my goal was to push the boundaries of what is possible in the sport, becoming the youngest UFC champion in history, defending my title against some of the best fighters in the world, and sharing unforgettable moments with fans across the globe. These are memories I'll cherish forever. I've faced incredible highs and some tough lows, but every challenge has taught me something valuable and made me stronger, both as a fighter and as a person. Okay, I got to pause right there real quick, because listen, okay, if this is like really his retirement, of course he should open his heart and say everything that anything that he wants. It's like, this is his moment, dude. But he's the GOAT, and he's, no press conference, just a tweet. Like, just a tweet. That's why I know that this is related to this case. Has to be. Because why would he just retire with no fanfare at all, just to put a tweet up on X? Anyway, I do think he's going to come back, but neither here nor there. The reason that I stopped right there is it's like, every challenge has taught me something valuable. It's like, Jon, listen, dude. Like, I think I've been fair to Jon Jones more than a lot of people, right? A lot of people are like, this guy is a complete and total piece of shit. I completely disagree with that type of take, because I just think people are complicated. There are absolutely people who are just stone pieces of shit. I don't think Jon Jones is one of them. I think he's got a demon inside of him, dude. And when he drinks, the demon comes out. But to say that the tough lows, he's learned something, given the fact that the first time that we realized he had demons like this, he hit he crashed his car into a pregnant woman and fled the fucking scene. And then his career ends with him crashing his car, with leaving a naked woman in the car, you're like, maybe that would not necessarily indicate that you've learned a lot from the lows. You know what I mean? It's like the irony of that is kind of unbelievable, to be honest. All right, so let's get to this part right here, which is Dana White reacting to Jon Jones' retirement.
Jon Jones got into some more legal trouble over the weekend. Jon was hit with a misdemeanor charge for allegedly fleeing the scene of a vehicle accident that occurred on February 24th in New Mexico. According to court documents, the female passenger who was reportedly intoxicated identified Jones as the driver before he allegedly left the scene on foot. The woman called Jones, and police say he appeared to be heavily intoxicated during the phone call. They also claim that Jon made statements implying his capacity to employ lethal force through third parties. Dana White reacted to this situation. Here's what he told Oscar Willis.
Did you know about the stuff that came out of Albuquerque last night?
I saw it today. When I saw it today, I said, oh, everybody's going to think this is why he retired. Maybe that is why he retired. Who the hell knows, man? But, yeah, I don't know. These are all questions you got to ask him. We had the fight done. You know, you saw me talking about it very confidently that this fight was going to happen. And then he changed his mind.
So, yeah, I mean, Dana's inflection right there is interesting to me. You know what I mean? Like, where, I don't know, the way he was laughing right there, if I had to bet, okay, like, if I had to bet, I would bet that he had known about this prior to, like, you know, he's like, oh, I just found out about it. And he's laughing. Because this whole thing is, this is a big deal. The fact that Jon's not going to fight Tom Aspinall after all this, Dana has said over and over and over that they had, and I mean, he didn't say it in that quote. I thought it was actually in that clip that they had the fight done. The fight was done. Fight was completely done. And, you know, I don't know. And he said they'd had it done for a long time. Like, they'd had it done before Jon went to Thailand, according to Dana. So, like, and they were holding out to announce it. Now, I'm not sure what that means exactly because, you know, it's like Dana's a fight promoter, obviously. And so he might be like, oh, yeah, the fight's done, meaning that they had verbally agreed to it. Like, it's done, as far as I'm concerned, when bout agreements are signed, right? Once a guy's got once they have a contract signed with a date on it, that's when I consider it's done, right? And so maybe they had that. I don't know. It seems like if it were me and I were the brass at UFC and I had a done deal, I would be very quickly announcing it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure that, bottom line, the second that you announce the fight officially, when guys have pen to paper, that locks them in, you know, unless they're Conor McGregor, as an example, and they break their toe, you know. I still can't believe that happened. I literally cannot believe that happened. But, yeah, I mean, so fight was done, fight wasn't done, whatever. But again, like, something about Dana's inflection right there makes me think that he knew about this and he's kind of playing it off like he didn't know. He's like, oh, people are going to think that it's that. Because it's like, Dana's a really street smart guy, okay? Like, the odds that Jon just called and retired, didn't give them any explanation when the fight was done, makes no sense to me at all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what, Jon's going to, like, just text Dana? He's all, hey, man, I retire. And Dana's like, oh, okay, cool. We have the biggest heavyweight fight of all time. I don't need any additional details about this. Just, okay. And then he goes to the press conference. He's like, Jon's retired. Like, come on, dude. He had to have known, I think. But anyway, let's get to the big meat and bones of this story coming from Jon's attorney, because this is, like I said, this is very impactful. And now that we're actually getting to it, let me say the following. This response is brilliant, okay? Like, this is real lawyer work here, okay? Their story for what they're coming with of, like, here's what happened, is extremely strong. Like, really, I was shocked by how strong it was. So let's listen to it right now. All right, let's do this thing.
Jon Jones and his lawyer responded to these charges. On X, Jon wrote, keep in mind, even the media can get it wrong sometimes if they don't have all the facts. Don't believe everything you read online.
I told you guys, best response ever. I'm just kidding. That's not it. That's not the response. And, I mean, listen, dude, maybe they are getting it wrong. Like, you know, if the lawyers have a good story.
His lawyer provided a statement to Sportsnet. It reads, as Jon's lawyer, I am stunned by the Albuquerque Police Department's decision to charge him in this new case. In the thousands of cases that I've handled in my career, I've never seen a case as strange and unwarranted as this one. Jon was not driving that night. He wasn't in the car. It appears that an intoxicated woman used false allegation against Jon to avoid being arrested for DWI, and the police fell for it. Based on the criminal complaint, it looks like they went so far as to seek a warrant for Jon's cell phone records while conducting a misdemeanor traffic investigation. I have never heard of such a thing. It is truly unbelievable that the police would waste this amount of resources on such a case. The only thing I can think of is that the police were targeting Jon for improper purposes. We will get to the bottom of it and make sure that this baseless case is dismissed.
Dude, that is a brilliant response. Okay? Like, that is a brilliant response. Now, let's be honest, guys. Do I think Jon was driving the car? Of course I think Jon Jones was driving the car. And I think he abandoned the car because he didn't want to get another DWI. She was in the car. He probably, who knows, right? But do I think that some incoherent girl was driving? You know what I just realized, though? Is it Jon Jones's car? Like, that, actually, you know what? Like, was it Jon Jones's car? Because they've just been saying, like, it's a car crash, but they haven't said whether or not it's Jon's car. Now, Jon being wasted on the phone doesn't indicate anything, right? Now, again, like I'm saying, it's Jon driving the car, I'm sure. Why would he have called her phone 13 times if it wasn't him driving the car? Unless she had called him outgoing. Okay, you know what, dude? I mean, I'm going to say, like, based on his history, it's almost certainly that he was driving the car. But if I even have to question it for a second, that is enough to where, what's the case? Like, what's your charges? That this girl said that he was driving the car? Because, again, if it was not his car, okay, I don't know. They haven't said. I mean, you would think that they would say the car was registered to Jon Jones if it was, in fact, his car. The fact that the girl's in the passenger seat and just says, like, oh, yeah, Jon Jones was driving. It's like, okay, like, so, yeah. And then they call him and he answers and talks to him or whatever, but they still don't even know if it's actually Jon Jones on the phone. Actually, I think he admitted that. But the bottom line is this, okay? He could have called her 13 times because she had an outgoing call to him when she crashed the car, okay? Like, that's not impossible. That she was wasted driving her car, right? She crashes into whatever she crashes into. She calls Jon and says, I crashed my car. And he says, well, you know, he's wasted. He says, well, don't tell him you were driving. And she gets into the passenger seat or whatever. And she has some harebrained idea to take her pants off to bolster her story that, like, she wasn't driving. Is it possible? Sure. That is possible. You know, like, that's possible. And Jon had been wasted at his house, you know, and she basically said she doesn't remember anything. She straight up said to the cops in the report, I don't remember anything. Okay. So again, if there is a even moderately believable story and you don't have any proof that he was driving, he's going to beat this case. Of course he's going to beat the case. You have no proof. Okay. Now you could potentially do some cell phone tower stuff and ping Jon's phone. And if Jon happened to have had his phone at the exact place where the crash was, then maybe you could prove it. But I'm talking about proving it in a court of law. I'm not saying that he didn't do it. I'm saying, like, this is how it works in the justice system. You have to be able to prove it. And Jon has a great defense now. This girl pulled a fast one on the cops and they believed it. And, like, they believe this blacked out drunk girl? Why wouldn't you just think that she had just jumped over into the passenger seat? What are you doing? And Jon never admitted anything. He never admitted he was driving the car, never said nothing. As far as they know, he wasn't even there. So it's smart. Real smart. But, like I said, realistically, do I think that Jon was driving? Of course I think Jon was driving, dude. You know? But I'm impressed with this. I'm impressed, dude. So what have we learned, everyone? In this case, what have we learned? We've learned, shut your dumb fucking mouth if you ever end up in the police, you know, engaging with the police in any capacity. The number one thing to take away is never admit anything, never give them any information, just shut your dumb mouth, okay? The way that everyone gets caught for everything is talking. If no one ever says a word about anything, no one ends up getting caught for the most part. You know, if you end up like on the wrong side of a federal investigation and they tap your phones, you know, but at the end of the day, that is the same thing. They got you talking, dude. But people talking is how they get everyone. Everyone. Goes down because people talk. You know, if you had a couple criminals that only knew sign language, they would be bulletproof, dude. You know, I mean, not bulletproof, but it would be very hard to ring them up on a case if you don't catch them in the act. So, yeah, I mean, Jon Jones has things to teach us, apparently, which is he's somehow going to get away with this. And at least the girl wasn't hurt. You know what I mean? But at least she wasn't hurt. But one thing I did want to add to this video at the end here is I wanted to show you guys what Tom Aspenol said, because in my opinion, this is very notable given the fact that he is now the undisputed heavyweight champion, and we can learn what we can expect from this dude. All right, let's go.
Heavyweight champion.
Heavyweight division, take the title away from him.
Jon Jones called us last night and retired. Jon Jones is officially retired. Tom Aspenol is the heavyweight champion of the UFC.
Right, everyone, the news has broken. I'm sure everybody's seen it. UFC undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Moving forward, very, very important to me, just that I acknowledge everybody quickly who has supported me in this, I'm not going to say it was a tough time, but a bit of a challenging time over like the last kind of 10, 11 months that I have been inactive due to no fault of my own. But luckily, that is all behind us now. Massively appreciate the support from everybody. Massively appreciate the support going forward. I am going to keep this thing as active as possible. I want to be the best heavyweight ever to walk the face of the earth. I'm going to defend this thing as many times as I possibly can. I'm going to keep you guys entertained. I'm going to really give back to everybody who has shown me support over the last year, over the last 5 years, over the last 10 years. Really appreciate the support and love from everybody, and we're going to see an active defending UFC heavyweight undisputed champion going forward. Thank you guys, and I'll speak to you soon.
What an absolute badass, dude. What an absolute badass. That's what I'm talking about, dude. You know, thanks the fans, like genuinely means it, like really means it. And Tom Aspinall's story, like his origin story of his career, is amazing. Amazing. His dad quit his job when Tom was super young and focused all of his energy on developing Tom as a martial artist. He believed in him that much. Okay? Like I'm actually like thinking about thinking about that story. I choke up sometimes thinking about that. Just the sacrifice that his dad made to focus all of his energy on his son, and his son ends up becoming the heavyweight champion of the world, now undisputed. It's if you have kids that are in martial arts and you understand what kind of sacrifice that is and what it took to get him there every single day, and focus all your energy on developing your son. It's incredible. And look at what an incredible man Tom Aspinall is an incredible man. Also, the one thing I think we are not going to expect a whole lot of are very much fighting, because he's going to get rid of these guys in minutes. Like this, no one can last 2 minutes with him, dude. So, I imagine he will be very active, because he's going to go in there. He's basically going to do a half of a sparring round, and then he's going to be done. He's going to be ready to fight the next day. You know, he's going to take more impact during training than he does in any of his fights if things continue the way that they have. Hopefully Francis fights in PFL and comes back, or hopefully Francis, I'm not going to say that actually. What I was going to say was, I don't ever risk for bad outcomes for businesses. But what I was going to say, if PFL just says, fuck it, we're going to let Francis out of his contract, because listen, do you think PFL is in a very strong position to pay Francis $10 million for a fight that they know they're not going to come anywhere close to getting their investment back? I'm serious. They have one fight left, and I don't think that they have the ability to just release him. I think if he signs a contract, they have to do the fight at some point. But I would imagine they are very reluctant to do that. They don't have an opponent for him. They don't have $10 million to just burn on an event. So yeah, I would be unsurprised if they just released him from his contract. If we get Francis versus Tom Aspinall instead, dude, that's the fight. Okay. That's the fight, for the record. That is the fight. The fight is Francis versus Tom Aspinall, okay? That's the fight. Give me that. Give me that fight, please. Anyway, that's what I got. Love you guys. Bye-bye.